All right, welcome to chapter 7. What's up? For this video, we're going to kind of go over some different functions and techniques that is used in chapter 7 I think are beneficial and helpful. To start, what we're doing, kind of our overall goal, is to simulate what it's going to look like in real life, what factors will be affecting your part when in the machine, kind of thinking a little outside of CATIA. So first things first, we're going to whip out the vice assembly from chapter 7. First, obviously, you create a new project, then go to the existing component, click your product, and then go to your, I had it in my 472 folder, the SCATCAM, go to chapter 7, tutorial 1 vice, you want your Curt vice. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to hold control and select the top and the bottom part, and then click open. You want them to be separate so you can kind of move them around, as you'll see in a second here. But yeah, that's a vice just like you've been seeing in lab. And sometimes I have problems with the bottom part of the vice where the parallel doesn't show up. If you go to the body, and then to that thickness, you can hide and unhide it, as you can see, and it'll kind of come back. Sometimes when I open it, it goes away, so that's why I did that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and click existing component again, click on that product, and import your part that you're going to be working on. In this case, we're going to be using this insanely awesome part called Lame Lego that we have made. And this happens sometimes too. If you just click automatic rename, it'll kind of do what it needs to do. Then you can click OK and everything will open just fine. Or at least that's what's kind of worked for me. So don't be worried if that pops up. So you can see we got our part with our stock, and you got both sides of the vice. So to start, we're going to use this manipulation command. Throw back to Craig Miller's class with the assembly workbench. All you do is click which direction you want to move something in, and you can just simply drag it. Yeah, so that top part of the vice there, we're going to drag it back a little bit so we can make room for our part. So then we will take the Z-axis, click the Z-axis, and move that part up kind of into the general area we'll need it to be in. Yeah, so you can kind of see it coming together there. Click OK. Now we can start moving on here. We're going to click the offset constraint. I clicked the don't show in the future anymore because it gets a little annoying and it just won't show up for you anymore. It's nothing to be concerned about. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the top of this parallel, or any of them, but we're going to go to the right side because that's connected to the vice. The top part is not connected to the bottom part. But yeah, just the bottom of that part to the top of the parallel, and then the side of the part to the side of the vice right there, so it'll rest on top of those. What you do is you click the update command, usually found in the bottom toolbar somewhere. Kind of search for it sometimes, but you can see that starting to line up there. Offset constraint again, we're going to do is take the same exact thing but to the left side, and update it. You see it kind of start coming together there. This will be from the top view, so it's in there but it's not quite center, so we need to make that center, obviously. So first we're going to fix a couple things. The fix constraint is going to make it where it cannot move anymore, or else like the top part might kind of shift, and that's not what you want. So we're going to fix the vice down. Then what we're going to do, I like to use a measurement, the ruler, measure between function, and I'm going to center this thing up and just kind of measure the width, and then the width of the vice. Do some math, and then we'll use another function to get it center. So yeah, this is just me using the measure tool here. Basically just click two sides that you want to measure, and then it'll give you the length. Yeah, I whipped out my calculator. So the length was 6, and then the part was 5.969, so I subtracted that, and divided by 2, and then that'll be the distance you need from the edge of the part to the edge of the parallel or the vise. Yeah, so I went ahead and clicked on this top view here. So we need to line it up. We got the face to this face. We're going to offset it like we calculated, 0.016, and update it. You can see it move over, but it doesn't look like it's quite center. I know we have the right math. It looks like it just kind of need to change it. So you can try negative 0.016. I think that'll do it. Yeah, that centered it right up. So now we got it tight in the vise just like it would be in the actual lab. Yeah, now we can kind of move on to milling, beginning the machining process. So yeah, the machining process, it's basically going to be the same thing. We're just going to do the setup a little bit differently. Obviously do save management, make sure all your parts are saved in the correct spot. I'm not going to do that because I got so many things open right now. But yeah, save everything in the correct files, so that way it'll open up correctly in the later. But yeah, we're going to machine like we usually would, set it up per usual with the machining, advanced machining. So just something a little different here with the setup. We're just going to be doing the little something different. Just went ahead and unhid the stock. Let's go into this part operation toolbar. We'll set the axis per usual. Looks good. And then go ahead and click the stock. And then our design part. Let's go ahead and hide the stock again. Click the part. So the different thing here, actually we need to do our safety plane first. Just offset it because I didn't make a plane for that. A couple inches on top. Yeah, the different thing here will be we're going to select a vise, which in the book it kind of gives you specific instructions on. Let's offset that a little more. Yeah, if you click this guy right here, that's how you select the vise, which is what will show up in the analysis. So what you do is you just click everything you want to show up in there. You can click every part. I think the most essential will be those parallels, and then at least the top part of the vise. You can also include the blue base. Yeah, you can select anything you want in there. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the parallels, the vise itself. Didn't let me get it. There we go. So yeah, the more you keep clicking it and selecting, it'll keep showing how many fixtures you have selected. So I went ahead and clicked a couple so I could get you the full experience. Might as well include the big guy. Alright, then we're just going to set it up per usual with we're just going to do 3-axis, not really a challenging part. And the stock is relatively close to the what we need. Then yeah, for the tooling, select what it says specifically in the chapter. I am not at a computer right now at the whole middle of coronavirus. Don't have access to the airport. So we're just going to start just like usual. Start with a facing. Like I said, I don't have access to your tools, but we'll make it work. Hopefully you know how to do a facing at this point in this semester. And yeah, that'll be where we want it to stop there, top of the part. I have to kind of make my own tool here, so bear with me. Make it 2 inches. Yikes. This is also useful to know too if you guys haven't done this already, but you can just double click on the measurements or on the dimensions and change it to kind of how you need it. I mean, that looks, you know, like a 2-inch face mill to me. So we'll go back and forth here. Make sure we got the correct thing selected. Tool diameter ratio at 50%. Maximum depth of cut will be about the same, 50%, but in real life you're actually going to want to go a little bit less than that just to be safe. And then kind of referencing our first videos and then at the very beginning of your tutorials and your exercises, do the correct feet and speeds with your feet and speed calculators. And also your macros and micros. Also, my units are not in correct. Change that to. Yeah, if you go down, you can see, especially for the feeds and speeds, you want to change everything from millimeters to inches. Just kind of on the safe side at this point, just in case I ever need to use anything with these units. I think that'll be good. Going back into the facing. Yeah, just kind of, you can see it changed the units on all those. So you fill those in how you need. Please reference our kind of first videos or just the beginning of the chapters in your textbook, how to find the correct feeds and speeds. But we will use that safety playing automatically for the macros. And you can see now what shows up as the vise is in the simulation as well. So you can make sure the tool is not contacting it and colliding with it, you know, causing damage. Not only the expensive tool, but the really expensive vise. And just finding a way to machine the part, taking those factors into account. And two, as we get going on this profile contouring, same thing, kind of simple functions here. Hopefully we know by now. If not, I'm still going to go over them. So yeah, I'm going to profile contour the rest. Like I said, I don't really have your guys' tools. So I might leave it at a 2-inch. This is not a very complex part. But yeah, what I was saying earlier was making sure, like some parts be more complicated. The stock for this, we made it to where it was like perfect, so we won't have to flip it around, but sometimes you'll need to make two separate machining process parts, I guess. Where you'll need to do one like this, what we have here, and you might need to flip the part over and like face the bottom so it's in the correct dimensions, especially with your projects that you guys do in class. So we did that first profile contour, looks good. We'll do a couple more here. Yeah, I think I'm just sticking with that 2-inch face mill. Make sure your distance between paths is not more than 50%. Same with the depth of the cut. And we'll take a look here, see how it looks. So far the part has not, or the tool is not hitting the vise and is milling the part how we need it to. It would especially be hard if we had to profile contour the sides, the very sides. Then we would have to do an operation where we would flip it over, so that way we wouldn't break a bit or damage the vise. Okay, we got 2 more profile contour to do. Same setup as the last ones. You can see it has, cleared the vise, not damaging anything quite yet. But yeah, it's pretty nifty to be able to measure and see in advance, kind of on the engineering side, before you actually get in there and start milling apart and see how close it's getting to the vise. If you hadn't used these techniques, you would have kind of been blindsided and been in a lot of trouble. So if you're in doubt, throw in the vise here that they provided you with the textbook and make sure you're not going to damage anything. Because obviously this process is pretty easy with this lame Lego. Some parts will be a lot more complicated. You really got to take consideration that vise and the bit itself so they're not breaking. So that's kind of what I had for chapter 7. The main thing here is just to kind of be able to work with and see the vise and how to assemble that part onto the vise and create a process, maybe a couple processes depending on how complicated the part is, and make sure that you're not going to be coming in contact with the vise with the bit, and saving either your instructor or your employer a lot of money and your job too. So hopefully this was helpful.